Well, hi there, I'm Colin Lamb, aka the Tone Wizard, and I thought it would be nice to check out a few tasty, sweet little riffs here on the channel. This first one is the main riff from Highway Tune by Greta Van Fleet. Let's check it out. All right, and here it is slowed down. So this is a new thing that I'm doing on the channel, and if this video gets 500 plus views, I'll do another one. I just wanted to play and discuss what I think are some great cheap licks. Now you can check out my channel for other Greta Van Fleet related videos and a wide swath of other stuff. There's something in there for everyone. And I also just want to say that you may have your own opinion about Greta Van Fleet, and that's great for you. That means that you are probably sentient and you have a base level of cognitive function which allows you to make somewhat informed decisions on your mind's own behest. Anyways, why is this a great cheap lick? What's so good about this goddamn lick? Well, I would say that it's instantly catchy. The song's now a part, whether you agree or not, of the popular rock and roll culture. I've heard it at sporting events. I've heard it at the hockey arena. I've heard it on radio. I've heard it on television. I think it's been at least in some television show or film. I could be wrong about that, but I've just heard this thing everywhere. I hear it. I've heard it in the goddamn grocery store when I'm buying my son his whole milk, right? He needs that whole milk. Get all that milk goodness up and form a giant brain so he can one day overthrow my position as the patriarch of the family. Now, I have to admit, even as a 40-year-old guy, when I heard this riff, I immediately wanted to learn how to play it, and I think that's what great licks do. And it could be me, 40-year-old guy going bald, or it could be some 8-year-old kid at the hockey game hearing this thing come on to try and get the crowd pumped up for the first time. Maybe that kid goes home and says, "Daddy, I've grown this giant milk brain. Buy me a guitar so I can learn Greta Van Fleet." Now, I think it's a cool, cheap lick for a number of reasons. One, it didn't take me very long to play. I kind of picked out most of it by ear, and then I watched a video. I think it was the Marty guitar guy. Maybe I'll put a link to that. Marty Schwartz, is that his name? I could be wrong about that, but he does a great little tutorial. And I did check that out just to fill in the gaps of what I was missing out. So yeah, I'll link to that in the bottom there. But it did make me want to play it, and I think it's a good enough lick that it can be played for most of the track without getting tedious. And I think that's a timeless rock device. Some of the best rock songs of all time are just simple arrangements built over a killer lick. From the Beatles' "I Feel Fine" to Black Sabbath's "Paranoid," Nirvana's "Come As You Are," there's a magic recipe of simplicity and melody that make truly timeless riffs. And I think this one has it, to be honest with you. And I'd just like to say that in an age where there's so many people that can literally play anything and look like I'm a semi-amateur, half-pro guitar player here. But in an age where there's so many guys who can play absolutely everything, I think so few people are making riffs and songs that people hear and want to play. And I have no doubt that these guys have inspired some young guys to pick up the guitars themselves. And it's great to see a band ride so high on a great riff. So it is a great riff to learn. It's easy to learn, and it's a cool riff that you can kind of expand on because it kind of gets the fingers moving quite nicely throughout the fretboard. It's a riff that can be played on a loop, and it resolves really nicely. It gets a lot of the fingers going. You can even incorporate a pinky in there if you wanted, like. It's nice. It's nice to play on a loop, and it just kind of goes around and resolves, like I say, very satisfyingly. It gets the fingers moving, and it's down here at this part of the guitar where you have access to a lot of hammer-ons where you can just go to an open string, right? Like there's all those nice open notes, and of course you have access to all the nice open chords. right? It's all down there, and it keeps things accessible to the fingers. I also thought that this was kind of a cool riff to mine around with and see if I could find my own riff somewhere in there, and I kind of came up with something like this. And that's obviously not going to be on the radio any day, but it was kind of fun to noodle around and play with. And I just kind of found that in there like in the last 30 seconds before I made this video, to be honest with you. And I think that's how a lot of great riffs are written. Just by learning your favorite songs and making something out of them yourself, taking them and doing something different. I think all creative mediums are a potluck dinner. You can take anything you want as long as you bring something of your own to share. Anyways, Greta Van Fleets Highway Tune, definitely a great cheap little lick in my opinion. If you've enjoyed this video, please go check out my channel, check out some of my other videos, like this video and subscribe if you feel like it. And you take very good care of yourselves, because at the end of the day, let me tell you one thing, and if I tell you one thing and one thing alone, I want you to remember this.